Okay, so here's an update to the demonetization of my channel, and what happened was basically they demonetized my channel after the movie that I had an interview with Jan Brennan, and she exposed the Tall Whites, the Arcturians, and Stephen Greer shapeshifting, and saying to her in front of 50 people, I have powerful ET friends and they will kill for me. Let's see him contact me or her and deny that he said that. Okay, so now the thing about it is that it's clear to me, and was clear to Jan, that they had demonetized my whole channel just because of that movie, and not because I had included clips from They Live, which I already had plenty of movies with clips from They Live, which I had monetized, and they didn't say anything about it, and or they just simply demonetized it, saying that it has public media content, or not, privately owned, somebody else's media content. In that case, John Carpenter's They Live. Now, I've done a whole analysis on it, but that falls into the fair use, which is the either educational analysis or criticism, humorous criticism of somebody else's commercial work. But in any case, I understand they do have a legal, as I said, they do have a legal basis, and they have a right basis to demonetize that movie, and or if it seems like it's too much, like I keep doing it excessively, which I don't think I did, and I never had any problem with that before, then they could demonetize a person's channel, and then they can sign back up, as they have given me the chance to. I can sign back up in a month, but that means I have to go through every single movie and make sure it doesn't have any non-fair use. And in fact, even fair use content, I don't think you can monetize it. But a lot of times the YouTube algorithm won't catch it because I'm analyzing the footage, which it doesn't show the actual clip in full speed and color and sound and everything. I think even the video images, it will kick off their anti-piracy algorithm, their thing that they have on YouTube. But the bottom line to it is that it's quite clear that it was about that movie, and it is a splash of cold water in the face, because that was half my income for the last 3 years. And notice that at that time I did not have any strikes against my channel. All my community guidelines were clear, as I showed in that screenshot, and so they didn't even warn me. And not only that, but when they demonetized my whole channel, they didn't tell me what it was for. The assumption, I guess, is that it is for the last movie that I uploaded, but they didn't say anything about that, so I don't know. So I don't know what it was for, and I don't know what movie it was for, and I don't know exactly what was in it that caused the offense of having, half my income for the last 3 years taken away. So, but again, I really only monetized my channel because I felt like they were blocking my channel anyway, and I thought, well, might as well just try it and see, because I wasn't even expecting to make any money from it. And you really don't. I mean, I get, a check from Google for, maybe $250 every 3 months, something like that. So it's not really that much, and because I live on the skinny, as you know. Skinny. Yeah. So, but the thing is that it's kind of a statement from YouTube. It's a statement that you're not welcome here, and clearly they were pissed about it, which I wouldn't have done anything differently, except maybe not include the They Live clips to give them that excuse. That would be the only thing I wouldn't have done over, but I wouldn't have not done the interview. I wouldn't have not interviewed Jan. I wouldn't have not uploaded it. I would have done everything the same, and if they wanted to demonetize my whole channel, they could have done it on the next movie that I published after that, and so they would have done it anyway. But because we can either express what we want or we can't, and and I think that was definitely what I showed was definitely news, no question about it. In fact, in my opinion, that was a major revelation that she saw Greer shapeshift, and some of the other stuff was very interesting too. Although we've heard it before, I have not personally heard a witness like that about Stephen Greer before. So that was pretty major and definitely news. So, you can tell from the testimony she was telling the truth. But again, keep in mind that it may not actually be physical shape-shifting, it may be demonic distortion. What happens is the person's visual field sees the being that is in essentially control of the human, as Susan Reed's book, The Body Snatchers, describes. So as I was kind of getting into this, I was thinking about possibly suing, because I watched a Carrie Cassidy movie, 12-minute movie that she made, talking about her second strike and movie Deleted, which had no community guideline violations, and I know they didn't. And I just felt like, okay, she's a Californian, I'm a Californian, we live in the same area, and live in the same state as Google, so we should consider getting into a lawsuit. Go ahead and take and sue for freedom of speech, and or just basically sue Google for being a monopoly on this technology, because other platforms are a joke, let's face it. Other people talk about, yeah, I'm going to go do DTube or Vimeo, but the reality is, and they know damn well the reality is, that everybody's still going to watch YouTube mainly because other platforms are just not quite as good. I had to put on my seatbelt there because I'm starting to pick up speed. So the thing is, I think that I don't know kind of what I'm going to do. I mean, I really, it seems like it shouldn't bother me that much, but because it's I knew they were. I mean, of course, I knew that YouTube was not my friend right from the get-go. I mean, come on, look at the subscribers versus the view count. As I've made a movie about this before, people putting out the same exact genre kind of movies, and like 10, 20 times the views. They had 20,000 views. I'm lucky if I get 1,500, and then it stops off pretty much. My sermons get like 800 if I'm lucky. So because people aren't as interested in that, they just want to see my the latest wild monster movie stuff from Richard Bruce channel. They don't want to hear no Christian sermon. Oh God, I get it, but the numbers just don't add up, and I haven't been buying it from day one, and neither have a lot of other people who know about all this. So I knew that they aren't exactly my chummies that love me, as Richie from Boston points out. Somebody that he knew got like this little medal that they sent him in the mail for his 100,000 subscribers. When you reach that point, you get like this little congratulatory medal from YouTube, and he didn't get one when he reached 100,000 subscribers. So yeah, some people are their friends and some people aren't, basically. So I don't know, basically I don't, to me, like, I really, to be honest with you, don't give a shit. If they delete my channel or whatever, that's on them. I reported what I saw, and if they do that, how can it be my fault? Screw it, I'll just do something else, because that's been one of the main things that I've been doing, really. I mean, I haven't hardly had any other employment or anything, and the other half of my donations came from, other half of my income rather came from donations, and so and I've been living on like $3,500 a year. Yeah, if you can believe that. Is that below the poverty line enough for any of y'all? Living in an RV, parked on the street without paying rent, you can slip by. My dad's helped me out with basic stuff like insurance and car repairs. So, I've actually been living beyond my means, and now that my YouTube money's cut off, then I don't know what I'm going to do. And also my donations fell way down, and I don't know exactly why that is. Who knows? Maybe my movies suck more than they used to, or people just lose interest or whatever. But I used to get more, and I noticed a sharp fall off. Although I've gotten a little more from a few people since I've met Jan, and she's been actually sending me some money. So not a lot, but I mean, a lot more than most people do. So it's kind of filled in the gap a little bit. Maybe she's feeling a little bit guilty. But hey, Jan, don't feel guilty. Like I told you, it's. I wouldn't have done anything differently. You told the truth. You had that experience. People have a right to know. And if Google, does something like that and, cuts off, my income that I made honestly for them and for me, that's on their head. We shouldn't back down. We shouldn't feel like, we did something wrong, because, Jan was expressing that she really felt like, maybe we, should take down the movie, and, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of people have that reaction. That's a normal reaction. That's what they try to do, okay? That's what they want you to. See, if you give in to intimidation, you give them what they got to do. That's their main tool, is intimidation. So if you give into it and you back down and stop doing it, then their tactic works. But their tactic, I shouldn't criticize them for using intimidation, because I think 99% of the time it works. People get scared. I think, this whole thing with the helicopters and the police cars and the black SUVs following me around and all that stuff, most people freak the shit out and quit doing whatever it was they were doing and get back to their little schnibbly job, eating crap, dying from all the crap they're giving us, and then go to hell. All right, me, I'm gonna fight, and if I get, kicked off of YouTube or whatever, I mean, like I said, I was careful about everything that I was doing on that channel. I mean, I knew that there was limits, and, if they have it out for me, so if I give them an excuse, why, they can just delete my channel. In fact, I think that they would have done that a long time ago, except that the Lord's in charge, and they know. And the scripture says that, their works shall follow them. Okay, so the works that you do as a Christian that are beneficial, that are fruitful to God, they follow them, which means they have to have a presence, right? So I've always got that sense that they can minimize my channel, they can do that, they can discredit it. They can, they do all kinds of things like sending these shills and demonically controlled people, which is everybody, including me. But they can send them to make comments out. If you look under the Vice movie, The Nightmare World of Gang Stalking, nothing but he's a crazy lunatic. You notice that, like the first 5 ones that are visible. Oh yeah, they have a name for that. It's called mental illness, and all that stuff. So it's quite odd. See, and they don't even think about what they're saying or doing. If they're not, conscious paid shills that are designed to go in there and say, bad stuff to discredit me. They're just controlled. They don't think about what they're saying. They just hate what I'm saying, and they just blur out, anything that to discredit without doing any homework whatsoever. Completely mindless, So that's, and everybody who's been on YouTube, all the truthers that have been on YouTube are familiar with all this. They know what the story is. They know, they don't buy the YouTube numbers anymore. They know that it's really weird how YouTube is an outlet for truth, and that's what most people don't get about it. Is they don't know why they would allow truths to leak out, which could, I wouldn't even know anything about the reptilian shapeshifters if it wasn't for YouTube. But I think this is done to both identify enemies and to control truth in a way that they couldn't if they didn't have control over the monopoly of worldwide, the most superior form of information learning is movies, digital movies now, clearly, okay? It's not through email, it's not through the movie theaters, not television, it's through movies on the internet. And the monopoly that YouTube has over that is, such that it really, no one, see, I think that they are using alien tech and know-how. I believe that, my sense is that Google is owned and operated by the insectoids, the insectoid faction of Satan's kingdom. And they have such superior algorithms and technology and so forth that even if they didn't shut down other channels, it would be hard for other channels to compete just by reason of competency. You'd say, well, see, it's like Vimeo, you have to wait forever, and there's all kinds of limitations. Same with DTube right now. Maybe they'll get better. Maybe they'll be competing. I mean, I hope that they do. I hope that they do. But the thing is that the reality that we face now is that there really is no better place. When you go, when you want to go see the latest, movies on stuff, the latest truth movies on stuff, if you're a truther and you're interested in the truth, you're going to YouTube. You're generally not going to Vimeo and DTube or Facebook or something else. Facebook, in my opinion, is a joke. I never even used it, and I never plan to. I mean, I have a Facebook account, and a lot of people look to it, but to me, it's like that's like the worst of the worst social media platforms. It's really not that great. YouTube is where it's at, and they know that. So I think that's, if there is a lawsuit, that would be something worth looking into. But the thing with Carrie Cassidy, let me just finish with what happened there, is that the more I contacted her, and she just gave me a brief email. Yeah, okay, fine, count me in. But I know she's not crazy about me, okay? Especially because I'm a Christian, Bible preaching Christian. Oh boy. But and she's a complete secularist, and so and I was talking with her, and I said, I live 10 minutes down the freeway from you. Let's do an interview, because I got UFO footage, I got reptilian. I mean, you have a lot of people talking about reptilians. I'm the only one that's actually coherent and showing coherent pictures of these non-humans. Parts of them, yeah, Keanu's claw, the thing with Harrison Ford, the horns coming out of his forehead. I mean, that's, to me, that's exciting. And she doesn't want to interview me. She doesn't want to talk to me. She doesn't want to have anything to do with me. Oh, could it have anything to do with me being a Christian? Maybe. Gee, I'm sorry you feel that way about my religion, but I think that's rather limiting for, because you have all these people talking about, the reptilians, David Icke and Stephen Greer and all these other people. Well, Stephen Greer is talking about the reptilians. You're not going to hear that from him. But, he's talking about aliens, and of course we've done the whole thing on him. But so here's what happened. After I emailed her and I said, okay, I'll look into it. I'll see, maybe I can find a lawyer, and talk with her a little bit about it. But as it settled into my soul, I knew. I said I'm gonna check into it, kind of feel into it, see if it's the right thing, if we even have a case and so forth. And basically, what happened was I started to get a feeling that it wasn't the right thing. That's the bottom line to it. I just got the feeling that somehow there's something there that's not working, and something doesn't feel right. Not only that, but I got a dark feeling about Carrie that I hadn't gotten before until I thought about working with her on a lawsuit. That's where I started to get like this. There's something in, that kind of was in the back of my heart, in the back of my something I could just sense. There was something dark there, and I don't mean to. It's unfortunately, yes, it is bad mouthing her, but. The fact of the matter is that was the truth, and another thing about this is that somebody that I have been talking with a lot was the interviewee that I did with Jan Brennan, and she said, when I was talking about, I was asking her, I said, look, I was encouraging her to do an interview with Carrie Cassidy. Why not? I mean, she, I don't see any reason. I mean, she, Carrie Cassidy does stuff that I can't do. She's very competent, and she gets great interviews that I could never get. William Tompkins, Randy Kramer, all these people that will talk to her. They won't talk to me. But in any case, and she's a competent interviewer for the most part, except for that interrupting thing. But the bottom line to it is we know a lot that we wouldn't know without Carrie Cassidy, and she does a bang-up job in my opinion in general. So I think that she's a credible source and worth bothering with. Unfortunately, I just got that feeling. I just got a bad feeling. Who knows? Maybe it's a demon in me trying to prevent me from filing a lawsuit against Google. Who knows what it is, or to keep me from working with her, because the demons are especially unhappy about that. They don't want her to associate with somebody like me, a Christian preaching Jesus Christ out of the King James Bible. And to her, for her audience to have anything to do with me whatsoever. And now she won't, because I was honest with her, and I told her, I said I got a bad feeling about it. I don't want to do it. I think it's and I told her, I said, I'm sorry, but I had a noticeably dark feeling when I felt into you, and both Jan and I noticed it. It was quite noticeable. And she didn't answer, and I didn't expect her to, and I'll never, hear from her or anything again. That was the end. That was the burning of the bridge. But I decided in that email that I was going to be honest with her and tell her that I got this dark feeling. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was me. It had nothing to do with her, but I got a dark feeling, and I didn't think that I could, do a whole lot with it. I didn't understand it, but my feeling is that, okay, whatever that is, I don't make a judgment. And I left the door open to her. I said, look, despite that, I'm not making any judgments. I'm just telling you what happened. And, if you do want to talk to me or anything, like I said, I'm 10 minutes down the freeway, and I've got footage of real reptilians, okay? But, like I said, she didn't answer, and I don't expect her to. I didn't expect her to after I told her that, you know, and she's probably already like, kind of like, you know, I'll try anything now kind of mode that she's in after, you know, she's got 2 strikes now, 1 more strike, and her whole body of work on YouTube is deleted, and I understand why she's upset. But what can you do?